Wow, divine justice delays, but never fails. Those who lined up to watch you fall are now wallowing in the lies that have entangled their own feet. Karma hit them so hard, they didn't know what hit them. The false scenarios they built on you have now collapsed their reality. Those who once spoke big are now silent. But you are standing tall, because you are chosen. Those who did not know your power thought you were weak. They thought they could silence you. They thought they could turn you from your path. But there was something they didn't know. The truth never loses. The light never goes out. They are now being held accountable, and you are walking to the top, while those who try to prevent you fall into the pit they have dug. You are rising. Write 777 in the comments. This is just the beginning. The mob gathered like a storm, brewing on the horizon, each gust of wind carrying words laced with venom. Their purpose was singular: to see you undone, to bury you beneath the weight of their collective condemnation. With every echo of distortion, their movement grew, fueled not by truth, but by the thrill of destruction. They wove falsehoods into intricate webs, convincing themselves that their manufactured reality would be enough to shatter yours. But the foundation they sought to erode was not as fragile as they believed. While they hurled accusations with reckless abandon, you remained, unyielding against the force of their chaos. And now, as the tempest they created dissipates, all that remains is the debris of their own making. The spectacle draws an audience, but not for the reasons they intended. Eyes are not fixed on your supposed demise, but rather on the aftermath of their own undoing. The dust settles, the illusion crumbles, and the truth stands untouched, unshaken, unwavering, undeniable. It always begins with a whisper, a single seed of malice, planted in fertile ground. The instigator, one who could not bear the light you carried, chose the path of shadows. Maybe it was jealousy, resentment, or a desperate attempt to rewrite their own inadequacies. Instead of confronting their demons, they chose an easier route: reshape your image into something unrecognizable. Twist your words until even the echoes sounded foreign. Their deception needed no evidence, only conviction. And conviction, when wielded with cunning, is often mistaken for truth. The wildfire of speculations spread rapidly, igniting curiosity and feeding the hunger for scandal. Some joined in the chorus of condemnation out of sheer amusement, reveling in the chance to tear another down. Others latched onto the narrative without question, eager to believe the worst, unwilling to entertain the possibility of falsehood. Assumption became fact, perception became reality. Within the ranks of those who followed, there were orchestrators, individuals who had long harbored their own grievances, but lacked the courage to stand alone. The emergence of collective disdain provided the perfect veil under which they could finally unleash their long-buried resentment. They saw strength in numbers, mistaking the volume of their voices for the weight of truth. Empowered by their own delusion, they believed their efforts would ensure your collapse. For a time, it seemed their efforts were working. They calculated every move, shaping the narrative with surgical precision. These were the ones who thrived in deception, who found pleasure in the manipulation of perception. Some sought power, intoxicated by the fleeting influence that came with leading the charge. Others masked personal vendettas behind the guise of righteousness, convincing themselves that their actions were justified. But beneath the pretense of moral superiority, the truth was far less noble. They were driven not by justice, but by their own inability to accept your existence. Their strategy was simple: repeat the lie enough times, and it becomes indistinguishable from reality. They ensured that your voice was drowned before it ever had a chance to be heard. They dictated the conversation, tilting the scale in their favor, ensuring that skepticism never had room to breathe. And for a while, the weight of their deception held firm. What they failed to consider was that reality is not so easily rewritten. Lies, no matter how carefully constructed, cannot hold indefinitely against the passage of time. The structure they built with such confidence crumbled under the sheer weight of its own fabrication. The wave they rode so confidently dissipated, leaving behind only wreckage and regret. Their movement, once a relentless force, now lies in ruin, exposed for what it truly was, a desperate bid for control, unraveling in the face of undeniable truth. Now, the reckoning begins. The same voices that once shouted with conviction now waver with doubt. Those who once stood firm in their condemnation find themselves at the center of scrutiny. Their credibility is in tatters, their influence reduced to nothing more than a fading echo. They underestimated the power of clarity, the inevitability of truth resurfacing. And now the tables have turned. The audience they once commanded now questions their motives, their integrity, their judgment. Those who blindly followed begin to distance themselves, unwilling to bear the shame of their misguided allegiance. The architects of deception, once so sure of their triumph, now stand amid the ruins of their failed campaign, watching as the world moves on. Without them, the ones who once reveled in their dominance now find themselves drowning in a silence they never anticipated. Conversations that were once laced with certainty and mockery are now fraught with hesitation, the weight of their own misdeeds pressing down on them. The confidence that carried them before has eroded, replaced by a quiet desperation to avoid the consequences they swore would never come. Their names, once spoken with admiration in their circles, now carry a different weight, one of disgrace, of exposure, of irreversible damage. Some have become cautionary tales, their deception laid bare for all to see. Others experience a different form of downfall. Social doors closing, invitations lost, the very people who once rallied behind them now looking away in discomfort. The irony is unmistakable. They set the fire, believing you would be the one consumed, only to find themselves trapped in its embers, suffocating under the weight of their own choices. Their undoing is not merely external, it seeps into the quiet corners of their existence. The glances they once ignored now linger too long. The whispers they dismissed now cut sharper than ever. Where there was once laughter, there is now an emptiness they cannot escape. The destruction they orchestrated intended to erase you has instead become the chains that bind them. Meanwhile, you stand firm, unshaken, untouched by the wreckage they tried to bury you beneath. The adversity meant to break you has done the opposite. It has strengthened your resolve, sharpened your clarity, reinforced your resilience. Words are no longer needed. The truth has taken a form they cannot control, reverberating through the very spaces they once thought belonged solely to them. The game has ended, but not in the way they imagined. The trap they set has closed, and the ones struggling to free themselves are none other than those who built it. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. Now, they scramble. The same voices that once ridiculed you without hesitation now stutter, tripping over their own justifications, hoping to rewrite a narrative that is no longer theirs to control. But there is no erasing what has been done. Their words, their betrayals, their calculated cruelty. They linger in the air, like smoke from a fire they can no longer contain. Some attempt damage control, crafting insincere apologies in hopes of salvaging what remains of their credibility. Others pretend as though nothing ever happened, seeking to blend back into the crowd, desperate for time to wash away the stains of their actions. But deep inside, they know there is no returning to what once was. They wagered everything on the belief that you would falter, that you would collapse under the weight of their attacks. And yet, here you are, thriving. The future they sought to deny you is unfolding before them, undeniable and unshakable. They, on the other hand, are left with nothing but the ghosts of their own choices. What they feared was never your actions, but your existence. You did not strike first, did not seek to harm, did not plot their downfall. If anything, you extended kindness where none was required. But none of that mattered. Your presence was the problem. Your strength, your certainty, your unwavering sense of self. It exposed the very things they tried to bury within themselves. Every fear, every insecurity, every excuse they clung to was laid bare simply by standing next to you. They could not accept that success did not demand deception, that influence could be earned without corruption, that truth would always outlive fabrication. And so, they fought you, not with reason, not with merit, but with lies and manipulation. Their mission was never about proving a point. It was about erasing a reflection they could not bear to face. Imagine a mighty ship setting sail on a vast, uncharted ocean at dawn, a vessel built with unwavering faith and guided by an inner light that no storm can ever extinguish. This ship represents the power of truth and integrity, a beacon for all who dare to navigate life with purpose. In the same way, those who once dared to challenge you made a grave error. They misjudged the force of your steadfast spirit and the unyielding nature of your conviction. Their greatest mistake was underestimating the force they were up against. They assumed that the power of truth was a delicate flower, one that could be easily crushed under the weight of falsehood and deception. They believed that by spreading cunning lies and weaving a web of manipulation, they could smother the luminous quality of honesty and erase the essence of who you are. But just as the radiant sun cannot be obscured by transient clouds, so too does truth shine forth despite every attempt to dim it. The resilient light of integrity cannot be broken by the clumsy hands of deceit. As the dust of their misguided efforts settles, it becomes unmistakably clear who has held the real power all along. The energy they released into the world, a reckless torrent of lies and distortions, has returned in full force, rebounding upon them with a vigor they never anticipated. They sought to rewrite the narrative of the past, to vanish without a trace, and to convince themselves that nothing of consequence had transpired. Yet, the natural order of things is unyielding. The universe retains every seed sown in malice and nurtures it until the harvest of retribution is ripe for the taking. Every falsehood they disseminated, every act of manipulation they performed with such careless abandon, has now become the instrument of their own undoing. The deception they once wielded as a weapon now unravels in their grasp, leaving them stranded in a labyrinth of their own making. One by one, those who had once aligned themselves with this dark crusade have begun to drift away, abandoning the cause that promised power but delivered only isolation. The seemingly impregnable circle they had built, a fortress of lies intended to shield them from accountability, has disintegrated into scattered remnants, each piece a testament to the futility of their schemes. They thought that by submerging the truth in a sea of fabricated narratives, they could silence your voice and erase your influence. Yet, you have proven time and again that silence is not the absence of sound, but the canvas upon which the melody of truth is painted. With every false claim hurled against you, you have emerged more resolute, more determined to live by the light of integrity. Their attempts to cast shadows have only illuminated the brilliance of your character. You stand as a living testament to the idea that no amount of deception can extinguish the enduring flame of authenticity. Those who once reveled in the art of deception now find themselves haunted by the relentless weight of their choices. They experience a deep, unyielding sense of loss as the bridges they built with their treachery crumble into dust. In every quiet moment, the truth of their actions confronts them, leaving scars that no apology or feeble attempt at repair can ever mend. Their misguided hope that they could simply erase the past or bury it under layers of insincere remorse has proven futile. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, has ensured that every dishonest act has reaped its just consequence. In this grand tapestry of life, the energy you have exuded, steadfast, unwavering, and radiant, has transformed every trial into a triumph. Your resilience has turned their malevolence into a mirror that reflects back only their own shortcomings. While they are left to grapple with the ruin of their false narratives, you are free to soar to new heights, liberated by the knowledge that your destiny is not defined by the fleeting shadows of deceit. The painful remnants of their betrayal now serve as stepping stones on your path to a future filled with promise and light. Your journey forward is marked by the understanding that forgiveness is a gift meant solely for your peace of mind, not a pathway to absolve those who sought to bring you down. There is wisdom in letting go, in closing doors that were never meant to be reopened, and in refusing to entertain hollow gestures that offer nothing more than a temporary reprieve for guilty hearts. In forgiving, you do not diminish the significance of what transpired. Rather, you reclaim your power and choose to rise above the pettiness of those who would have you defined by their malice. Every trial you have faced has fortified the foundation of your character. The struggles that were orchestrated by others, intended to break your spirit, have instead revealed the immense strength that lies within you. You have transformed every blow into an opportunity for growth, every hardship into a stepping stone towards a more glorious tomorrow. Your life is a living sermon to the idea that no matter how fierce the storm, the sun will always rise and the truth will always prevail. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. Now, as you stand at the threshold of new beginnings, know that your light has become a guiding star for all who seek truth and hope. The journey ahead is illuminated by the promise of endless possibility, and the lessons of the past serve only to remind you of your own indomitable strength. In every heartbeat, in every breath, you embody the power of redemption, the triumph of honesty, and the boundless potential of a spirit that refuses to be broken. Picture a gentle stream winding through a sunlit valley, a constant, life-giving current that nourishes every parched corner and transforms barren land into a garden of hope. May your path be ever blessed, and may you always walk in the radiance of truth. For while those who once underestimated you now face the harsh consequences of their own misdeeds, you continue to prosper, unburdened and unstoppable. The legacy you build is not measured by momentary triumphs, but by the enduring impact of your faith, perseverance, and love. Embrace this truth and allow it to lift you toward a future where your spirit soars freely, unshadowed by past trials. Your journey is uniquely yours, and every step is a celebration of a light that no darkness can ever overcome. Imagine a sturdy, time-worn bridge stretching over a deep, winding river, a symbol of steadfast faith connecting the past to a radiant tomorrow. In this sacred voyage of life, you are like a steadfast beacon on a rugged coastline, a guiding light that shines unyieldingly even amidst stormy seas. The challenges you have weathered have not weakened your resolve. Instead, they have refined your character. Much like a master craftsman transforms raw stone into a timeless work of art. Your heart beats with divine purpose, resonating with the promise of a new dawn, and your resilience stands as living proof that adversity only serves to reveal the strength within. Every hardship you've encountered has been a stepping stone laid on the path of your destiny, a path illuminated by hope and the certainty of a brighter future. Like a gentle river carving its way through ancient canyons, your spirit has shaped and defined your journey, leaving behind trails of wisdom and testament to the power of unwavering belief. Each new day offers the promise of renewal, where setbacks are transformed into opportunities, and every trial becomes the foundation upon which your legacy is built. Your life is an inspiring testimony to the truth that challenges are not obstacles, but rather the very tools God uses to mold us into vessels of greatness. In the simplicity of everyday moments, you find divine lessons that uplift and empower. Whether it's the soft glow of morning light or the quiet assurance of a prayer whispered in solitude, every experience fuels your inner fire. You walk this earth with the confidence of one who knows that every twist in the road is part of a larger heavenly plan, one that rewards perseverance, fortifies the soul, and grants abundance beyond measure. The strength that radiates from you is a beacon to others, a living proclamation that with faith, every trial gives way to triumph, and every sorrow is but a prelude to a victorious celebration of life. Keep pressing forward with gratitude and humility, for you are a cherished child of the Most High. Your journey, marked by perseverance and hope, is a radiant example of how a resilient spirit can overcome even the fiercest storms. Hold fast to the understanding that every trial is a blessing in disguise, a chance to rise higher and shine brighter than ever before. Your unwavering commitment to truth and integrity is a testament to the enduring power of a spirit anchored in love. Let your faith be your guide, your determination your shield, and your hope the flame that lights your way forward. As you continue on this journey, remember that the abundance of blessings is not a fleeting wind, but a constant presence, sustaining you as you move confidently into the future. Your life is a magnificent tapestry of divine favor, and nothing can diminish the light that radiates from within you. Let this be the final proclamation. You are the master of your destiny, the author of your own story, and the embodiment of a truth that no deception can ever erase. The chapters of your life are written with courage, and each page is a testament to the triumph of integrity over all that seeks to undermine it. The adversaries of your past have faded into insignificance, and what remains is the glorious, unyielding promise of a future filled with hope, prosperity, and endless light. Embrace it fully, for you are destined for greatness, and no force on earth can ever alter the path you have chosen. And you continue forward, unbothered, unstoppable. Their efforts to destroy you have only propelled you further into your purpose. The doors that once seemed closed now open effortlessly. The opportunities they swore you would never see now unfolding before you. Your success, your peace, your unshaken presence. It is the final confirmation that their battle was always in vain. They tried to strip you of your power, but in the end, they were the ones left powerless. As they retreat into the shadows, burdened by the weight of their own regret, you rise, not because of them, but in spite of them. The alliances they built through falsehoods are crumbling. The support they once boasted, now nothing more than a fading memory. Where once they had an army, now they stand alone. The final realization dawns upon them. No amount of deception could have ever changed the inevitable. They thought they could write your ending, but they were never the authors of your story. The chapter has closed, and they are no longer a part of the narrative. Justice has been served, not through vengeance, but through the undeniable triumph of truth. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. You are already beyond what they tried to destroy. Their reckoning is not yours to witness, nor is it your burden to carry. You have stepped away from the ruins they created, untouched by the chaos they once thought would consume you. While they sift through the remains of their own downfall, you continue forward, unbothered, untethered, and free. Their regret, their attempts at redemption, their longing for a past where their actions had no weight, none of it is yours to entertain. Let them wrestle with their own conscience. Let them face the echoes of their choices alone. Growth has already carried you far beyond their reach. There is no need to look back. The betrayals, the deceit, the carefully spun illusions, none of it had the power to halt your purpose. The wounds they hoped would weaken you have instead become the marks of resilience, reminders of strength they never anticipated. Let forgiveness be a gift to yourself, not a passage for them to return. Some doors, once closed, must remain locked, not out of spite, but for the preservation of your own peace. Understanding their motives does not mean welcoming them back. A lesson learned does not need to be repeated. In the end, they were never the architects of your destiny. The noise, the accusations, the attempts to erase your influence, they failed. Not only did you endure, but you flourished, untouched by their predictions of your downfall. They assumed they could silence you, that their numbers would dictate your fate. But now, your presence is stronger than ever. Your voice carries further, and their misguided campaign has become nothing more than a cautionary tale. What remains is not their wreckage, not their guilt, not their desperate attempts at rewriting history. What remains is you, whole, unstoppable, and already steps ahead of them.